Folks, welcome to the season opener of the Bwoah Racing League, and this time around it's season 5, race number 1, as we head to the Portimao circuit, the Portuguese GP. Of course, for those of you who follow Formula 1 closely, you'll know this track as the one to look out for. A lot of undulations. Drivers, however, probably won't be too happy out there today, regardless, as they go through the 3 sectors, 15 turns, 2 DRS zones, and this is where I can bring in Dalvin and ask him which part of this track you like the most, bud. Oh. Okay.
Camber corners, so if you just put down the throttle at the wrong time or put down too much throttle, and yeah, round goes your car.
Of course. Yeah, as we head into shock qualifying, I'm Sarthak, and as I already mentioned, alongside me is Dalvin. Full racing grid, Dalvin. How awesome is that?
Interesting. It's always very nice to see a full grid, especially on a season opener, and just a little bit of spice, with the new drivers coming in and mixing it with the rookie, the previous rookies who are, you can say, some, juniors now, and along with the seniors or the pro drivers that we have. So, we had to discover some real talents over here, possibly some undiscovered, potential. Perhaps one of them is going to make it to esports one day.
Yeah, that's what we'd all like to see, won't it? And qualifications open as well for F1 2022 Esports. So if anyone fancies trying it out, go ahead. I'm pretty sure you can find that link somewhere. Mad Marcus is in the chat. He won't be out on track. He's a driver for the in-game Williams team in the league, and he says Williams' first podium out of many today? Question mark. What do you think? You think UK and the other driver? Apologies, I don't know who it is, but yeah, have a shot today out on track.
Definitely. It's a new track, so not everyone's gonna get it right from the get-go, unlike
Course.
the other 20-ish tracks that we have on in the game. And Sarthak, look
Yeah,
at this. We
yeah.
have rain in qualifying. What a turn of event.
Yep, 19 drivers out on track currently, and I wonder how many might just be saying, you know, this might just play into their favor. But I remember the likes of Accelerate from season 3 who really fancied the rain more than any other driver. But it is what it is. Most of the drivers coming out of season 4, they're in different cars as well. So I'm on the edge of my seat to get this going. 18 minutes of short qualifying begin.
Yep, indeed. And I was just having a chat with the drivers before the race, and there's some talks about strategy going on at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time about the weather. So, apparently the rumors are true.
Okay.
And Portimao, Portugal at least, tends to rain a lot in this game, and there we might even see some changeable conditions towards the end of quali, given that it's intermediates right now. We might even get a mixed condition race. So, that's pretty spicy itself for a new track, and so excited to look at it.
Yep. We'll see soon enough a driver coming out on track. But yeah, what kind of lap time have you set on this track, Dalvin? I'm curious.
Uh, I don't remember, but it's somewhere around the 116th in the dry. That's pretty standard time, pretty solid. If you want to compare it to a time trial, probably a 16.5. That's the best I could do. But other than that, it really comes down to the race itself. How well you can, manage your pace. If you're slower in qualifying, but you're the master of Sundays, or are you just going to be the Mr. Saturday George Russell kind of person? Stick it on pole and just hope for the best on a Sunday race.
Yep. We'll find out soon enough as Vex is out on track already on an out lap. Baby Shumi comes out as well. We did see a horrible crash for Baby Shumi in the shock qualifying of the preseason social race. But yeah, he'd like to put that behind him, I'm sure. I believe Super Max is I wonder who it is. I think it is Derp. Yep, Derp. For those of you who don't know, who's alongside Horning in the in-game Alfa Romeo team this time around. But it's XZ stepping in for Horning at this race. We got Hyrox24 as well coming out as we speak. He's alongside Envy.
Yep. And one thing for sure, I think Derp is definitely a big Max fan over here. His name gives it away.
Yep.
However, we're not at Zenvod yet, so probably he would like to still impress in this track. Regardless, I think perhaps we can have a first look at some of the early runners here, right on board for a lap of Portimao. Let's go on board with a Haas driver over here.
Avi, I presume?
It is Mr. Vex.
Oh,
He
okay.
started his lap.
Right, he was the first driver out on track, so let's stay on board with him then.
Yep. Just have a look at the curves in these treacherous conditions. Oh, drivers just locking up into every corner. And now turn 4 comes up, a very off-camber uphill. Difficult to get the traction right, but he gets it right for now and survives the lap. Downhill braking here, pretty difficult to manage. Gets it good. Another very tricky traction zone over here as well. It's going to be a very common theme throughout these next upcoming corners. A fast right-hander, a downshift, and flick the car in. And this is where the toughest corner is on the circuit. Turn 8, very uphill and off-camber as well. Gets it right. Gouts is in his way. Gets out of the way just in time. And Mr. Vex takes it into the third sector. It starts on the exit. And a sharp left-hander, uphill as well. Uphill braking zone. Flick it in into the corner. The little hairpin. and he's rounding up for the last corner over here. A very, very long and understeery corner which turns into overstay on exit. Gets it right, just surviving it. You got to be careful on the track limits with this track, especially. And running onto the pit straight, he comes around to set the first lap time, and it will be a 1:28.0. Mr. X, first to set a lap time in BRL Season 5, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm getting my seasons wrong, but
Yeah.
there we go.
Perfect. And just like as you say that, Baby Shumi quick to set a lap time as well. Not too far off, 1 minute 28.140. As we'll see, a lot of the quicker drivers set a lap time, and as I say that, Avi, Mr. Wex's teammate, in fact, gets into the 1 minute 27s.
Yep, I think these drivers are definitely fueled up for at least 2 to 3 runs consecutively, because you definitely wanna get some running and get some feeling on this track and improve lap after lap, rather than going for 1 lap and then box again and then go for another lap. It just ruins the momentum, especially in the wets.
Of course. No, not something you'd want to do. RB Ferrero, next one to set the quickest lap time out there, 1 minute 27.235. Quite the contender. We did see him go neck and neck with the likes of General Pepe and KDB last season. And we got UK, second fastest lap time out there. Things might have just taken a turn for good in Season 5 for UK.
Yep. And speaking to UK earlier before the race, I think he's one of the drivers who said he'll just wing it in the race. He's not gonna worry too much about what the weather is. And I think for someone who did not prepare that much for the race, he did a pretty good job to stick it on P3 for now, P4 as we speak, with a 27.5, very respectable time here.
Brilliant by him, and looks like we have a retirement already with the likes of Dark Legacy going out. Unusual, but we might have just missed that. Hopefully, Richard will be back in and helping us out with what really went down with Dark Legacy. Unfortunate to see him not setting a lap time at all. But yeah, a bunch of drivers out on track on their fastest laps. 8 of y'all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for. Who do you think will come out on top? Sick Nig says, what a lap by Mr. X.
Axie just had a little spin but manages to recover onto the mini straight at turn 5-6. Survives it for now. Looks like he might have to cool his tires this invalidated time.
And look at that lap time, quickest out there. It's dope.
Yep, typical Max Verstappen fashion. I think he just sticks it on pole, and I think we're too soon. And the Ferrari is back on top. Envy with a 24.9 sets the pace, sets the benchmark for the entire lobby for today. What a showing from the Ferrari boys over here.
Yeah, brilliant by him. His teammate will want to do better. I'm sure he's 10th fastest out there. Soon enough. The likes of KDB as well, hopefully can make it into the top 5. Kuberabi just set a lap time, blazing one, and that's second fastest out on track. Lap 2 goes yellow, and I think a lot of drivers are out on track, and that's a slow moving Alpine, I presume, just making way for the rest of the cars. 10 of y'all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for. Which driver do you think will grab pole position in the first qualifying session of Season 5?
Speaking of doing better, hello guys.
Yes.
How are we doing? Season 5, new season, new drivers.
Yep.
All excited.
Hello.
Speaking of which, Alpha Tauri's Dark Legacy, as you can see, has been disconnected because he didn't have enough temperature on his tires. He said he was complaining about tire temperature, and right when he completed his out lap, as he was going for the hot lap, he spun into the straight and had to back off. So yep.
Unfortunate for Dark Legacy. You'd want to see the likes of Dark Legacy set a lap time in the first session, but yeah, it is what it is. Maybe it's a last to first challenge for himself at Portimao. 9 minutes left to shock qualifying. Times haven't changed, with the top 5 being the same for a while now, and as I say, that drunken monkey puts himself 4th fastest.
Yep, and it's interesting to see the sectors are all lighting up in yellow, and we expect the times to be lighting up in purple, but all we're getting is yellow sectors everywhere, and it proves to be a very, very tricky circuit in the dry alone. But now, throw in some weather. I think Portimao is really going to be the race to watch for. I'm looking forward to this, man. I think season opener race, that's how it goes really well. Some battles, maybe some extra weather in the race as well.
Hopefully, as we stay on board KDB, I mean, look at these drivers switch positions. We all know the top 10, as we see it, are all competent drivers. Like right off the bat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, 5 race winners in the top 10 already. So, and the likes of Envy, Kuberabi, and Dub being up there, they're as competent enough as the rest of the bunch to grab a race win soon enough. Maybe they will, all rookies.
Yep. And as we see some drivers setting in the lap times and going back to the pits, a little less traffic on the track right now, and some other drivers are getting their feet dirty, or you can say their hands dirty, whichever it suits, and getting ready to set a lap time.
That was a spin.
Heavy rocks.
That was a spin, yeah.
Yes.
Are we in Sector 1, at the end of Sector 1, right in front of one of the other drivers I was on, KDB. Unfortunate for him, 12th fastest out there. You'd like to see him in the top 10. Hopefully he can better that lap time soon enough.
Yep. Halfway through the short qualifying session, drivers will be having enough time to make 2 or 3 more runs here. And, by the looks of it, Envy, who set the pace early on with a 24.9, 1.2 second clear of Derp, aka Super Max over here. I think he just wants to get that pole position secured for the race. And on the other side of the grid, BRL Vix, who's yet to set a lap time, is rounding up the last corner to start his hot lap here. And let's ride on board with him, shall we?
Yes, we will. Support coming through in the chat for the likes of Derp and Gouts. Gouts sits at 13th fastest right now. He's in the in-game McLaren car.
Right on board with BRL Vix here. And he runs wide and invalidates his first lap attempt. Unfortunate there.
Instantly disaster, I'd like to say, for him, but 6 minutes left to short qualify. How much of a disaster is it really? But yeah, support coming through for Envy, with the likes of Envy as well, who's got the fastest lap time provisional pole for now. UK just set a 3rd fastest lap time, and as I say that, Kuberabi beats Derp and is 2nd fastest out on track. Look how quickly everyone's beating each other's lap times.
Yep, but still almost a second away from the fastest lap set by NVN, who is now starting his lap time onto the straight, a bit squiggly on the exit, but just manages to get through. Let's ride on board with this magnificent Ferrari driver, and cleanly through the turn 1, turn 2 as well, turn 3, and breaks into turn 4. All clean and handy, clean and dandy here. UK's disconnected car in the middle. And we runs wide, and fortunately that did not invalidate his lap. Just under a tenth down for his best lap. UK, they're getting disqualified for parking in dangerous location. I presume he must have disconnected there.
Yeah, fortunate for UK. Let's continue on board Envy. In chat, however, prediction coming through that Mr. Derp, who's currently sits at 4th fastest, is going to grab a podium on his debut. Big man Joe sets the 3rd fastest lap time.
Yep. And finishing up Sector 2, Envy is now 2 tenths down on his best lap. So he just looks like he might have just abandoned the lap and recharging to restart another lap.
Alright. We'll take this time to probably go down to the midfield, where we see the likes of KDB. Not something we see too often, in fact. And we got UT, his teammate, as well. We expected both drivers to be in the top 5 somewhere. Unfortunately, we just don't. It doesn't seem like they have gotten accustomed to the track yet, have they?
Yep, and as always, the weather always throws in a span in the works. Brings out the best of the drivers, shows you who's really prepared, who is really adaptable, with or without practice. And I think, we are seeing some amazing performance by all these drivers out here. It's pretty tight. all the way from P2 to up till P5 and 6 in one good lap and you're probably in pole, a bad lap and you're down in 20.
Yep, quite the grip we've got. I believe one of the drivers just jumped quite a bit. The two in-game Haas drivers.
Mr. Vex
Yeah.
has a spin at the last sector, heading into the hairpin, and is just slowly doing a Mazepin style recovery onto the track.
He's not going to be glad about what you just said. But yeah, fifth fastest lap time. Fifth fastest lap time. He'll be looking at better that. It's great to see drivers pick off each other's lap time one by one. It's probably the third time I'm mentioning it. Sector 3 still yellow. And Envy's lap time still yet to be beaten.
Yep.
He's on his out lap as well. David,
Oh,
this is...
collides with his teammate, and this is not looking good for the Alfa Romeo drivers here. Derp, who was on a hot lap, I think he might have got hit by Axie, or Axie just lost it on his rear, but it seems that all others resuming.
UK has returned. Will be hoping better his lap time, I'm sure. But yeah, David, this is usually when I ask you predictions for the race. Would you fancy predicting the podium itself?
Oh boy. I can't say, man. For once, I think I'm stuck with a spoil for choices here. But if I have to be biased for my favorite teams, I'd say probably Envy would probably get one of the podiums. If not, probably go for the win. And don't discount KDB just yet. I think he's definitely up there for a podium fight. And maybe we'll just see one of the rookies get a surprise podium as well today.
Yeah. Okay. As we say that KDB loses his rear as he comes onto the main straight. Make sure he's still on track. Didn't send himself into the barriers and starts his fast lap. He'll be looking to close that gap to Envy and probably start on the front row.
Yep.
Hello guys, so UK's woes still continue. He had an internet issue which shows that he is disqualified because his car was parked in a dangerous location. So yep, the woes for UK just carried on from last season. Hopefully he's gonna get it fixed.
Unfortunate for UK. He'll be starting in the back of the pack, even behind Dark Legacy.
Yep. Perhaps it's a blessing in disguise for the race because Portimao turn 1 is a very fast right-hander, and during the race starts, I'm just calling it right now, we might see some collisions and UK might just snipe off some positions. And as we speak, DRS gets enabled here, so will we see any drivers on soft tires? Perhaps they have prepared for it. The track is just improving much faster right now.
We do. Wix 356, he's on sauce, but he won't be able to set a lap time with less than 30 seconds left. So drivers are out on track with their intermediates, and what are the odds they can actually beat Envy's lap time? I don't see that coming.
It's a remote possibility with the track now pretty much dried up. If these intermediates can hold up in terms of temperature, I think we might see someone just close enough to challenge. But as the timer runs down, nobody else could start their time. Everyone who's about to cross their line will set their last lap time. Harry Rocks jumps into P11 here, and then Gouts coming around the last corner. Sorry, it's Cuba Abi coming on, and he boxes, probably not improving his lap time as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how KDB does because he's still down there in P10. P10 of all positions. The top two have gone into the pits. They've called it a day. We got Big Man Joe out on track on a fast lap himself, but he's going incredibly slow.
Just had a spin, and he's making way for the two Alfa Romeos to pass through. And Big Man Joe might just call it a day as well to probably take home the P3 for now.
And we see Derp retiring from this session. He's gone off track and crashed out. And so does RB Ferrello. KDB's lap time has gone haywire.
Yep, KDB was sort of impeded by Big Man Joe, who was making way for everyone, perhaps not realizing there's another car at the back, and that created a kerfuffle here right around turn 11, 12. And as you can see, a lot of cars riding on board with Big Man Joe is just making way for everyone. but nobody seems to be improving their final lap time, isn't it? The track's bone dry right now,
This
and
Oh, and we have a spin. Mr. Wex is on a fast lap. He spins on the main side and into the pits. He goes the pit entry. So I think we can call it there. With the likes of XZ, the only other driver who's ended up invalidating his lap time as well. So yeah, it's the likes of Envy to grab his first pole position on his first outing here in the Bwoah Racing League. He'll start on the front row alongside Kubarabi, and on the second row it's Big Man Joe and Dub. So the front two rows, three of the drivers are rookies, with the likes of the Season 3 champion for company.
Yep, and interesting stat over here. Looking at the screen, Envy and Harry Rocks, the two Ferrari drivers, the only two drivers to set their fastest lap on one lap time. So great job by the Ferraris, P1 and P11. P11, as you know, everyone likes to refer in league racing, is the strategic pole position. If you're outside the top 10, probably you can start on the alternate strategy and get something going for yourself. Then again, it's a wet qualifying, so everyone has a free choice of tire at the start of the race. Will we see someone gamble it on the hards or the mediums from the back? Will we see someone who, possibly going for the softs to get some early positions in? Let's see.
And with that pole position, and as you said, strategic pole position for the in-game Ferrari team, new team principal as well, Ron. He'll be glad about that. Brilliant. And we're setting precedent for short qualifying sessions to come throughout the season. Kubarabi as well, and things have taken a turn with possibly the likes of Big Man Joe from Season 3 returning, and Derp right up there. Wex's top 5 quali, which he has kept to his name since Season 3, continues into Season 5. He's got Gouts for company as 6th fastest and Avi right behind, and so is the grid as follows. We're going to have one hell of a race, aren't we, Dalvin?
We are, and just to add on to the suspense for the comms box, we have no idea what's the weather is going to be like for the race. So drivers, they can see it on their screen. And speak of the weather, we have the weather.
Yep.
All right, this probably looks like a full wet, isn't it? And that might explain why Envy was so quick. Probably he went for a full-on wet setup. Majority of the race might be on wets, or early parts of the race might be on wets. So that might give him the advantage to just stretch that lead out and probably survive for the last few laps. And on the likes of the other drivers who are probably about a second to two off in qualifying, perhaps they are going for a dry setup here. Interesting choices. And we'll probably wait for Richie to give us an update as to what's happening on the weather. I'm kind of interested to know now.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up, right? You can imagine everybody in their respective team voice channels talking to their team principals and whatnot. Like, how do you think everybody's feeling right now? It's the first race. There's rain pouring down. It's a new track. We've already heard from many of the drivers how they haven't even been able to hit the 1 minute 16s range, for that matter. And we see the rookies on the front row. So yeah, I can't wait for the race to begin. And with 15 seconds to go, we'll see the formation lap begin. That's by far the most exciting part, for me at least.
Yep, and tire choices. Everybody is on the wets. It looks like it is a wet start, and this is gonna be interesting, into turn 1.
Let's hope everybody keeps it clean, keeps it on track, and no one slides off.
Too early to say that, but we will be sure that there will be some people losing their wits into the first corner, whether by mistake or by accident. By being spun out by others or on their own mistake. It all could happen. Then again, luck plays a big factor in league races. Of
course.
And it's right on board with our drivers for the formation lap.
This is probably a good time to mention Baby Shumi's teammate for the day was supposed to be SV11, their team principal and reserve driver, who's taking his race ban after getting enough penalty points to incur one. So yeah, it's the first race ban in the league we've handed out. The stewards have handed out, and yeah, he's taking it here today. That's why we've got only one Mercedes car out on track as Envy leads the pack on the formation lap.
Yep. Formation lap, extremely important, even more important in the wets, because you want to make sure that all your tires are warm enough for the good start and also gives you a good amount of grip for the first lap or two. And as we look right on board, UD has been disqualified from the session.
Yeah,
Am I
he-
right, Sarthak?
yeah,
Or is the game doing game things again?
That's just from the formation lap usually. So you can see him on the map. He's sitting on his grid spot for the race to begin. Probably not the best considering you want to do stuff to your tires. Let's just say that. And yeah, it tends to happen. And usually we have quite the rule in place as well to ensure no one impedes the other during the formation lap. I think he might have to give that a read. But yeah, nothing disastrous yet.
Yep.
Hello, guys. A
Nothing
small update on the
disastrous yet.
weather.
Yes.
Sorry
Thank
to
you,
interrupt,
Ritu.
Dalvin.
Oh, we were waiting
So
for
a
the
small,
weather, yes.
yeah, small update on the weather. So it is going to be one cracking season opener because it's full wets, and then it changes to winters, and then finally we do have at least 4 laps of slick weather tires.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
interesting.
All right.
We'll see how this plays out with the likes of KDB in that P10 position. And yeah, I can't wait. UK starting from the back of the pack. There's a guy out there with the last to first challenge as well, and he's got Dark Legacy for company. Quite the driver. 2 rookies on the front row. If only that was possible. 2 rookies on pole.
Quite the oxymoron there, but
Yeah.
whatever works in the comms box, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
It makes some good commentary, good content for the viewers. And if you're here as well, hit the like, follow us on our YouTube channel, and we're about to get started for the season opener here in Portuguese GP at Circuit de Portimao,
Yeah.
or
Things are
whatever
getting
that's
decent.
called.
Yeah, just Portimao. The Portimao circuit. Let's just stick to that. Yeah, the Portuguese GP race number 1 of the Bwoah Racing League Season 5. We already got a few glitches, but hopefully the lights will come out for all. 19 drivers out on track. Lights are out, and away we go. Who's got a better start? Looks like it's nobody as Envy and Kuberabi struggle off the grid. Box, Big Man Joe as well, but it's Dop. He's taken the position off of Big Man Joe right behind Mr. Wex. Waits cautiously, and it's a spinning Ferrari with the likes of Hyrox 24 falling down the order all the way to the back.
Yep, and all through the carnage at the back, UK up to P15, P14 now, and I think starting at the back was indeed a blessing in disguise because he managed to get through all the crash and safe and sound without damage. And although saying that, we have a VSC deployed at the first part of the race, and that might throw some spanner in the works.
Yeah, and I wonder what's wrong with Drunken Monkey. He's had a horrible start, and 5-second penalty after severe collision with freeze for UK. Not something you want to rack up on lap number 1. And yeah, I'm still confused what's happening to Drunken Monkey. He's down P18, and he almost was standing out on track.
Yep. We might see some drivers diving into the pits for early repairs over here. Possibly even, maybe someone would like to jump onto the intermediates if Jeff says the weather's coming to Inters very soon. But it doesn't look that way. And VSC is staying out for pretty long here, isn't it? More than half a lap, almost a full lap indeed.
Yeah, it seems like we might just have, at the end of lap 1, the VSC going off, of course. And yeah, we'll be racing soon enough. Everybody's within a second of each other with a few of the drivers in the midfield, of course. And VSC is off as they come along the main straight. It's almost like a race restart, some would say. Envy sets the fastest lap time under VSC. 3-second time penalty for Drunken Monkey. Kuberabi closes in on his competitor into turn 1. Envy has the edge right behind Big Man Joe and Derp. That battle for that final podium position. Too early on to bring that up because the race has just started.
Yeah, right behind Baby Shumi has bots for repairs, and looks like he was struggling early on. And Drunken Monkey as well looks like he is boxing for damage repairs as well and serving their 5-second penalties, which might be good now considering there might be another safety car later on. They might as well create it now.
Yeah.
And up front looks like the pack is starting to open up a bit.
Yeah, we got our first overtake as well. Avi's up in a P7 as he gets that move done on Gouts, and RB Ferrello will be on his gearbox now, on Gouts' gearbox, waiting for a slip up or two. I must mention Dark Legacy all the way from P18 is up into P10.
Yep, and that must be a really really good start. Possibly avoiding all the incidents up in front, or maybe just getting some cheeky dive bombs while we were looking at others. But yep, good position to gain, and it's pretty difficult to overtake in the wets if you keep it right. And I think he might be looking at some further improvements up in front.
And KDB is up in a P5 as well, all the way from P10. He's up in a P5. And we've got the P2, P3, and P4 drivers all within a second of each other or so. And on the main straight, nothing's going to change, of course, as Envy leads this race on lap number 3 with 30 laps to go. And he's opened up a 3-second gap to Kubarabi.
That's a pretty big gap to open up within one lap itself. 3 seconds in a lap, I think, he's definitely running a full wet setup here, or probably just fully prepared for the wets, and he's just pulling away every corner, every straight.
Yeah, we got a battle in the midfield. Vix356 and Dark Legacy go wheel to wheel as they enter sector 2, and they'll stay wheel to
Side by
wheel.
side, into the braking zone, they tap wheels a little bit. Vix has the inside. Dark Legacy around the outside gets the better traction and seems to have kept the position. And as I say that, my mic just dropped.
No problem. And Vix356 coming back for his position. He's trying to find that gap. He needs neither of these drivers are backing off, and as rightfully they shouldn't. UK, I wonder how UK is looking at this, and I wonder if information's being transferred to him as well. That up ahead, 2 drivers are battling it out for position. He probably better put the pedal to the metal, as I'd like to say. And yes, he has. He's within a second of Vix356 now.
Yep. Unfortunately, no DRS in the wet says, so every overtake that you do has to be on pure pace, pure merit. It also adds on if a driver in front makes a mistake. So right now UK in the train for P10 looks like he's battling for the wooden spoon right now.
On the main straight, Gouts has a slide spin, and RB Ferrello gets a PA position. Gouts tumbles down the order. Unfortunately for him, he's stranded at pit entry.
That might have been a little bit unsafe of a reset to track by Gouts over there. He could have waited for UT to pass through, but all safe now. Race resumes. Gouts lost out a big amount of time, big amount of positions to his rivals. He's probably going to have to do a good recovery drive here.
Did the Haas drivers just swap positions? It seems like it. Mr. Vex ahead now. They're still within just over half a second of each other. Vex finding it
Seems
difficult.
like there might have been team orders there in the Haas garage, and Mr. Vex has been. He seems to be faster in the wet condition at least, or at least on the start now, and probably to chase down KDB out and drag along Avi with him.
Yeah, and back to the midfield train we were talking about earlier. Vix356 has gotten that move done on Dark Legacy. Now Dark Legacy has UK to worry about.
Yep, and soon enough, I think Axie might join the queue as well. So it's going to be a 4-man queue, all within 2 corners of each other.
And under these conditions, only time will tell who will be on top. Vix356 racks up a 3-second time penalty. Not something you'd want to do. It's 3 drivers out on track with penalties so far in. And the gaps are still within a second with amongst a lot of drivers for that matter. Dark Legacy hanging on there in between Vix356 and UK. Freeze gets the move done on XZ. I believe there was a bit of a mishap on his side.
Yep, Freeze getting the move on XZ when XZ just ran a little wide on the final corner, coming onto the back straight, and XZ though not giving up, goes for a move onto Freeze, onto the straight, side by side into turn 1. Can they go? Can they go? XZ clumps the curb, Freeze runs wide, and both of them make it through safely.
Somehow,
no incidents there.
Somehow, and RB Ferrello tumbles down the order. He's had a spin and he's out on the grass, onto the gravel. He's down into P14. He was having a mighty climb to the front where he'd like to accompany the likes of KDB like he did in Season 4, but he finds himself down in P14, closer to Gods, who had a spin earlier.
Yep. UT now joins Axie for the battle for P12 over P11 and P12 over here. It seems like the gaps are opening and closing up everywhere throughout the track. Every driver still not fully up to speed just yet, except for the likes of NV. Oh, as we speak about Axie just has a spin out of turn 8, and he's dropping down the order as well. Down to P15. Gouts gets past Axie as well. And that's one free position for Gouts to
Ooh.
recover from.
He's just spinning. He's gone into the Visit Portugal ad as well. He gets a 3-second time penalty in the process. Unfortunate for him, he's not having the best days out there. Up ahead, however, speaking of gaps, a huge gap opened up by Envy to Kuberabi. Now almost 7 seconds, with Kuberabi having Big Man Joe within half a second of him.
Yep. And right behind Derp and KDB, almost side by side. They are within a second of each other as well. So it's a train starting to form for P2 over here.
Yeah, but
P2, P3, 4, and 5.
I need to divert your attention to Mr. Wex. He's had a spin as well, same part of the track where Gouts did, close to pit entry. Who's approaching Mr. Wex on the main stage, should be able to get the position and back to the front row battle soon enough. These two are going wheel to wheel, however, Gouts and Mr. Wex into turn 1. Gouts should keep the position, because I don't think Mr. Wex is having the best of times.
Yep. And Gouts keeping it clean right now and slowly regaining the lost positions. He's definitely looking for a recovery drive away, isn't he? There's nothing much to contend unless, another safety car comes out.
Precisely. Up ahead, Derp, as you mentioned earlier, closing in, losing a bit of traction out that particular corner in the entrance of Sector 3. Fascinating.
Really close to Kuberabi now, onto the final sector here. And looks like he wants to get a better exit, but these treacherous conditions are just not allowing that.
Because Rusty
There we
Nish.
go. Okay, I thought there was a move coming in from Big Man Joe, but it's still pretty far away.
Yeah, pretty far away. He's kept that gap for a while now, for about 4 laps if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Great work by him.
UK here, having a good recovery drive up into P8 already and challenging Beryl Vix for P7 right now. Into turn 1, gets close but no cigar.
Oh, he spins!
And UK spins just as we approach him. Oh my goodness, UK. Oh boy.
Not the front
I think
wing.
not UK again.
Not the front wing again.
And the safety car has been called out from that incident. Lucky UK. And I think some people may want to dive into the pits and get a change of type. Perhaps the intermediates might be an enticing choice right now. Envy gets a drive-through penalty.
I was just about to say Kuberabi is possibly the only driver out there who's glad about the safety car, considering he had that huge gap to Envy. But with Envy picking up that drive-through, and I think Freeze picked up a collision penalty with Envy of all drivers out on track as well. So penalties being handed a lot into safety car. I'm pretty sure it'll be reviewed by the stewards later on, post-race. But yeah, for now it stands.
And just for everyone watching, you cannot serve the drive-through penalty under safety car or VSC. So any driver that picks up their drive-through right now, they will have to serve it at the end of the safety car period, which is going to be a big blow to their contention for the positions. So which means Envy, by the time the safety car is in, he might be last.
Really unfortunate for him. Things just took a turn for the worse as KDB enters the pits for a change of tyres.
Well, we see some intermediate tyres coming on. The rain seems to be getting lighter, and we see some green wall tyres. KDB, the first one to make the jump onto the intermediate tyres. He's done a George Russell, and I think it's gonna trigger a lot of pit stops right now, isn't he?
Yeah, and I just noticed, damn, that green on green looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and RB Ferrero, another driver out on track with intermediates, and we have a crash.
Yep, and it was Reese and UT looks like it. Yep, just as KDB was coming out of the pits.
First UK loses a front wing, now UT's got no front wing either. What is happening out on track on lap number 8?
And we're just 25% through the race, and there's been a lot of drama already. 8 laps, folks, and we still have 25 laps to go. What a race it's been so far.
Folks in the chat, make sure you drop who you think has been doing good out on track, who you're here to show your support for as well. Every position counts. Let's reiterate that. All positions have points to be grabbed, points to be competed for. So yeah, you want to finish races. Of course, mind you, after you have finished 90% of the race itself, and you do end up retiring, you still get the points of your positions as a rule. Where Envy leads
Yep.
this race for now.
Yep, for now, as you mentioned, because he carries the drive-through penalty. So let's quickly have a look at the penalty situation here. So, drive-through for NV, drive-through for Gouts, and these two drivers may not be the happiest right now for speeding under the safety car. They'll just drop to the back of the grid after the safety car is in, and looks like everyone
Yeah.
is diving into the pits.
Yep.
KDB has done the George Russell and triggered a series of safety car pit stops here.
Yep.
And guess who is into the lead?
Looks like it's Cooper Rabi, I presume? Oh no, Envy's still ahead. Envy's still ahead.
Have a look. Have a look. It's the one and only
Oh,
KDB.
okay. He stayed out on track, of course, after the early pit stop. My bad. My concentration was completely in the pits, of course. It was beautiful to see all the drivers come in together. I almost thought it was a red flag. Just kidding. But yeah, KDB leads this race. Brilliant. Brilliant. Under safety car. Lap number 9.
Yep, and KDB in his wily old fox fashion keeps it calm and retakes the lead for now. And with the Envy right behind him, although he's in P2, he will have to drive through. So, one less driver to worry about for the time being. And everyone else behind seems to be clear on penalties as well. We have seen some drivers picking up corner cuts, and 3 seconds, 6 second penalties are all starting to rack up as well.
Yep. And as we stay behind the safety car, still on lap number 9, the driver to make up the most positions, Dark Legacy, 11 positions as he runs P7. But yeah, let's not take anything away from KDB, who made up 9 positions since the start of the race.
Yep, and safety car might just be out for another lap as the whole field is not bunched up yet. However, safety car will only stay out for a maximum of 3 laps. So this will be the final lap that the safety car starts. So we will have a restart at the end of lap 10. So all the drivers that are still not in the queue yet, hurry up, boys. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out a lot from the race.
Yep, precisely. How things have unraveled within 9 laps, not even the 10 laps for that matter.
Yep.
Davin,
Almost
how
the third.
how much are you missing this? Because I know you love to race as well. You're in a league of your own as well. But yeah, how would you imagine yourself in this mix?
Well, to be very specific, 2 weeks ago I had a race in Portimao as well.
Oh, okay.
It started off dry and it was inters and then wets and then inters again at the end. So it was probably my best race, but I think that the weather definitely throws in a lot of span in the works, and it gives you different emotions through the racing. Do you want to go for a full wet setup? Do you want to go for a dry setup? Do you want to play it early, play it late? All those emotions, all the thoughts are running through your mind, and then suddenly someone just has a spin, has an incident, and the safety car is out. So your strategies are always changing on the fly. So if you have a race engineer like most of the drivers have today, I think they're gonna have that strategy bit cut down for them and made it a bit easier.
And if I remember, you finished P4 in that race?
Yep,
Yeah.
P4 probably the best I've done, considering there wasn't a single bit of practice going into Portimao. But yeah, we'll take it. Sometimes you just have to capitalize on others' mistakes. Sometimes you win it on raw pace. That's how racing is. And
Yep.
speaking of racing, we might get a restart here as the safety car is in this lap. 3 drivers at the back though. XZ, Baby Shumi, Gambler and Drunken Monkey have not caught up to the safety car queue just yet. This is really gonna hurt their race.
Yeah, not the kind of position you want to be in. Oh, it seems like KDB is bunching the pack now. Bunching them up.
Yep.
And Aston Martin leading a race. I'm pretty sure a lot of Sebastian Vettel fans would love to see that in Formula 1. And on the main straight as KDB comes, Envy, look at him, how close he is. He wants to get the best start right off the line as KDB will bunch them up that much more. Excuse me
Looks
for that.
like
And restart. It is.
3 equal start from both of them. Envy tucks into the slipstream, ducks to the outside. Side by side, KDB keeps the lead for now. Nothing to lose. I think he has more to lose out of this. Even if Envy takes the lead, he has to serve that drive-through penalty. So KDB has the lead, has the track for now.
Yeah,
And right behind Big Man Joe,
Mm-hmm.
something's happened to him.
Yeah, he fell down the order. He had a nasty restart. Fortunate for him. I think he's got damage as well.
Side by side, Supermax and Dark Legacy going side by side into the hairpin. Who's gonna come out ahead? Supermax. Derb gets ahead into P4.
Yeah, and in the midfield, it's UK and RB Ferrello, wheel to wheel as well, as RB Ferrello gets the best of UK and he's up in a P11 so far. UK trying his best to stay as close as possible to RB Ferrello as they come over the hill, as I like to say. UK is just losing pace. He won't be able to keep it as close as he'd like to. Everyone within a second of each other. Most of the drivers out on track. But yeah, guess who's closing in? It's Envy. He's on the gearbox of KDB. Out of the corner, he gets not the greatest of exits, but somehow keeps it as close as possible. On the main straight is when we can expect another proper battle between the two front runners. Kubarabi is possibly looking at this and saying, keep going, boys. Possibly have a tumble or two. But Envy goes into the pits.
Yep, and serves his drive-through penalty, so that will effectively put him towards the end of the towards the rear of the field, which releases KDB into the lead. No pressure for him. I think we're gonna see some action here by KDB. You know, just doing his typical stuff. Right behind though, it's a pretty big train and a side by side. Drunken Monkey goes on a move on Gambler into turn 1. Drunken Monkey gets the move done, and safe and sound they go to turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, and up ahead we've got Mr. Wex who got a move done on RB Ferrello. RB Ferrello is coming back for what he thinks it's his position. Wheel to wheel through sector 2 as they enter. Mr. Wex has the nose up ahead and will have the nose up ahead going into the next couple of corners. But RB Ferrello around the outside gets it done. But for how long can he keep it? I think he's got it done pretty darn well.
Yep, and intermediate tires much grippier compared to the hard, not the hards. I mean, compared to the wet tires. So drivers, I think they are starting to experiment with a little bit more traction out of the corners, start turning in a bit more aggressively, and some of them are finding pace early on during the safety car restart here.
Oh, and Avi almost got sent into a spin, somehow kept it on track and holds up UT for that much longer. But as the race continues, the gaps opened up between the front runner and Mr. P2, who's Kubarabi. As KDB sets the fastest lap time, Kubarabi snatches that right off of him.
Yep, and Kubarabi looks like he senses a race win over here. KDB doesn't seem to be the fastest outright today. And Kubarabi, Supermax all closing up on KDB. We might see a 3-man train form for the lead very, very soon. And right in the midfield, Avi and RB Fellow all getting close to each other's gearbox here. But nothing done just yet.
Yeah, Drunken Monkey racks up a 3-second time penalty. Big Man just trying to climb up the pack. He's in P11 now. He was running in the top 5 for most of the race before the unfortunate restart on the safety car, which went sideways for him. But yeah, RB Ferrello looks like he's poised to pick off 4 positions within a matter of a few laps.
Yep. We're just a third into the race, 2 thirds to go, and it's still a long way to go, especially when you have mixed weather conditions here. I think we are looking at a train forming here at P5. Is it Freeze, BRL Vix, Avi, and UT? And RB Fellow now joins the queue as well. Mr. Wax joins the queue as well. So it's a pretty long queue. All the way from P5 to P9 and P10 even.
Yeah, and when you got long queues going into the last couple of laps of the race, you don't want to have a lot of penalties. Avi gets a 3-second time penalty, and we might just see the first move in this long queue. UT closes in on Avi on the main straight, has a slipstream he needs, but will he take the risk? Late break into turn 1. They're almost side by side. He goes over the curbs. Avi goes off track, and they both keep the positions they started off with when they came onto the main straight.
Yep, and they live to fight another lap as Envy, who has a big comeback to do in P14, sets the fastest lap, 1 second faster than anyone on track. He is the fastest man and is flying.
And I think
And there is a spin as well from a Ferrari. Is that Envy?
Yes,
Oh
it is.
no, it is Envy.
so
Oh boy.
I got to see
Pretty
that
unfortunate
firsthand,
there.
and maybe, just maybe, that could have been Drunken Monkey's fault, or maybe he lost traction coming out of the corner and he steered right erratically. And yeah, unfortunately for him, he's got damage on the front wing as well. So things are not looking great for the driver who led most of this race.
Yep. And speaking of driver leading the race, KDB's lead is been cut down lap by lap, and Cuba RB and Supermax, aka Dope, are starting to catch up, albeit just a tenth or two a lap.
Oh, and we
And
have a
we
retirement.
have an Alpha almost spinning and a retirement, and another safety car has been called. Okay, folks, this is interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a glimpse of Drunken Monkey's car. I think he had a horrible crash. I think a front wing and tires as well has been gone off. And he's in the barriers on the right hand side, as folks, if you can see. There he is. And that warranted the safety car, rightfully so.
Yep, and the leader has caught up the safety car as well, as the safety car was called out before the lap ended. So anyone who wants to get their pit stop out of the way, probably this would be the best time. Envy, one of the first ones to box in for his repairs, and also to get a fresh set of intermediate tires by the looks of it.
Is
And,
this a driver error, or is this a smart move? Freeze just coming out on the mediums?
Freeze on the mediums. Wow. Okay, that is pretty early. That might indicate that the rain might be ending very soon. It looks like it's still intermediates to me. It's not looking like a dry weather where any close yet. So unless we get some updates from trackside, we might see some gambles coming in from some of the drivers here.
Yeah, hopefully Richard can give us a scoop on what's happening in the AlphaTauri voice channel. To think he was even running in the top 5, so I don't get why he'd even risk a pit stop of sorts. But yeah, maybe the game plan's different over at AlphaTauri.
Yep, indeed, and it is a known bug, you can say, in the game where the track looks wet, but it's pretty much ready for dry. So perhaps on the radio, Jeff's saying like rain, rain is gonna stop, and the dries are not far away. It just might make sense that he goes for the gamble here and gets onto the mediums to be the first one onto the dries, but it may be a very long shot here.
Yeah, it's not easy for him out on track either. He almost got sent into a spin, somehow caught the car, and still on track. Safety car still out, and this time around KDB has two drivers to worry about, Kubarabi as well as Derp. So they're going to come quick as Freeze goes into a spin. Those mediums are not working out on track. He racks up a 3-second time penalty, resets himself on track, but he's down all the way in P16.
Yep, a gamble that did not work, and he missed the pit lane entry, so he will have to circulate another lap. And bunch of penalties being given out for ignoring yellow flags up in front. I'm pretty sure the drivers will be appealing those, and there might be some incidents happening up front.
Let's quickly bring them out though. Penalties, how does it look? 11 seconds for the likes of Vex and 14 seconds for the likes of XZ, who's having probably not the greatest races. He's all the way down P17, way far off compared to the rest of the pack.
Yep, so far the only drivers to keep it clean are the top 3. And also in P14 and 15, Gouts and Envy yet to pick up any penalties. So these drivers are looking good to go till the end. If in case that's a late safety car, you do not want to be having penalties, Sartak, like you said earlier, because those gaps will be just diminished. All your hard work's gone, and the penalties are going to rack you up.
So Envy's on a fresh set of intermediates, so we're in for a climb from his POV for sure. But how much can he climb? And maybe another safety car will come into the picture as well and play in his favor for that matter. We got big man Joe in P9, an interesting position. He could make up quite a bit of laps. He's got 6-lap-old intermediates on. But yeah, I'm inquisitive to see those last 4 laps.
Just to add on to that, Sartak, Envy's fastest lap earlier was a 26.3, and then the next fastest lap on track was by Kubabi, which is a 27.9, a full 1.5 second faster, and he was. And with the fresher tires, I think he will be looking to get back into the lead very, very soon. We have a few more drivers into the pits. Looks like they are serving their 5 second time penalties here. Smart move by them to get it out of the way now. And there's some front wing changes as well going on in the pits. So interesting. There might have been multiple collisions during the safety car.
Perhaps, yeah. New set of tires as well for the
Freeze.
likes of UT and Avi.
Yeah, Freeze still on the mediums, circulating around the track. I have no idea what this man is up to. Perhaps he's just waiting it out for a lap or two, but he might be a lap or two too early to gamble onto the soft tires or even the slick tires over here.
Yeah, well, you never know what's going down in that team in that team, because Mr. Team Principal is Professor Prophecy, as I like to call him, strategic as ever. Or maybe, who knows, it is a driver error. We'll find out soon enough, hopefully from the likes of Richu. But yeah, with the safety car out on track, when we have the restart, it'll be KDB leading the pack, Cuba be right behind, and Derp hunting for position as well.
Hello, guys.
Yeah.
It has been so many incidents that it has been a little difficult to keep track.
No problem.
But yeah, speaking of that pit by UT, he had an incident with XZ, and XZ seems to be having more incidents before that. So XZ is not he's not the one to look for right
Yeah,
now,
of course.
especially after the race.
Yeah, safety car is going in this lap. We just want to know this, Richu. Were you able to find out why Freeze is out on the mediums on track?
Yes, so I think it is a driver error because
Okay.
I have been told that the race is at, not the race, sorry, the rain is at least 10 minutes
Great.
late.
That-
So,
Yeah,
yep,
thank
freeze
you
is a little bit early.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. We really wanted to know that as the safety car goes in. And we got a restart. I think it's disaster for KDB as he spins on the main straight. 5 second penalty for Vix 356. He tumbles down the order. And Envy seems to be in the most brilliant of position as he makes the climb. But it's Dark Legacy who got a fantastic start. And he leads this race. Kubarabi behind. And the battle for position in the midfield continues. Derp trying to hold on to that podium position. And there's a collision between a Red Bull and a Haas. Wex and Big Man Joe is disaster.
Everybody is going off here.
What is happening?
Big Banjo has to wait for everyone to rejoin, and up in front, Dark Legacy Kubabi swapping positions into the hairpin and going up the hill. Everyone's running wide side by side throughout all the sections here. It's pretty difficult to catch up. Kubabi and Dark Legacy. Supermax joins the fight. It's almost 3 wide into turn 8 over here. BRL Vix right behind them, and he's looking for a jump on them. Dark Legacy and Supermax side by side into turn 10, I presume. But weather update very quickly. The rain has stopped, and Freeze, who's on the mediums right behind, he might be looking for a very, very quick recovery here. Although saying that he runs wide coming out of turn 8, so that might halt his charge for another lap.
Disaster for some of the drivers and opportunity for the rest as Vic 356 seems to be tumbling down the order. He loses 2 positions. Was that a collision? Almost seemed like it as UK climbs into P5. 3 second time penalties being handing out like candy out on track as Mr. Vex gets into the podium positions as one of the drivers pit. 5 second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Dark Legacy. Not something you want to pick up after doing so well this race.
Yeah, might we see Dark Legacy gambling it onto the soft tires or the medium tires right away, and he boxes for another set of intermediates with a wing change. Perhaps the track is just not ready yet for the slicks. It's getting spicy over here, and UT here holding up Baby Shumi and KDB. KDB looks like he's going for a move on Baby Shumi for P9, and no, he just doesn't get it. Perhaps out of the corner, out of the happing, doesn't get a better traction. UT doing his best to help his teammate recover here, apparently.
Oh, he's coming back and
KDB
he's...
slides it down the inside.
Yeah. Clinical, as I like
Big
to
Man
say.
Joe has retired from the race. Something has happened. He has lost it around turn 7, and a full safety car has been called out. This might just be the time for everyone to dive in for the slick tires. Will we see someone gambling it on the softs to go till the end, or will they play it safe and go with the mediums here?
We got RB Ferrello out on sauce, but let's stay on board with Dark Legacy as he comes alongside where the incident took place for Big Man Joe. He's out on track. He's lost the front left. He's lost the front left. So, rightfully so, both Red Bull drivers, the in-game Red Bull drivers, have retired from the session and will not take home any points for that matter. Rakesh won't be too glad about that.
Surprisingly, top 4 not pitting on the safety car. That's interesting. Envy dives into the pits. He's definitely, probably, most likely, all the hoods or whatever the words are. He is definitely going for the softs or mediums over here. KDB is getting ready as well. He is diving in for the softs. Envy dives in for the mediums. So it's a different strategy coming off from both these drivers over here. And it's getting spicy for the restart.
Yeah, I was going to divert your attention to Envy earlier on when you were on the battle of KDB and Baby Shumi, because he was making the climb incredibly. If not, he would have been in top 5 in no time if the safety car didn't come out. So yeah, coming out on the mediums, on a fresh set of mediums with KDB for company right behind. Things are getting interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it looks like with the race drying up so fast, perhaps KDB, who might just be running a full dry setup here, might just have the edge on Envy. Only time will tell if Envy really has the full pace over here. And up in front, it looks like everyone is still on the medium, on the Intes, aren't they, Sarthak?
Yeah, and another thing I want to bring up, which I don't get, is when I see the likes of Envy, KDB, and RB Ferrero, strong drivers making that pit stop for fresh set of slicks. We have Dark Legacy in the mix. He's on a fresh set of intermediates. What's going on there?
Yep, and that was definitely not anticipated by him. Perhaps if he just boxed onto the mediums or softs right at the time, he would have been close to the lead right now.
Yeah.
However, let's follow the safety car just right behind with the leader here. I think we might just see some drivers diving into the pits right now, and looks like no, Cuba B is staying out. Max is diving in. Mr. Vex is staying out. UK is staying out. Some drivers are not boxing at all. Super Max Dub is the only one who boxes from this second lap of pit stops.
Yeah, and I must mention, Davin, regardless of incidents, the likes of Cuba Rabi, he didn't have to make too many climbs, did he? He didn't have to fight for position that much, considering he's been doing so well up in front with the likes of Derp and the rest that he was able to keep that position, and now it counts because he leads this race. But will that strategy of staying out on the intermediates take a turn for the worst?
Yep, probably it will come back to bite him in a lap or two, because the track is pretty much dry and it will get to dry soon. It's not going to rain anymore. And speaking of gambles earlier on, Freeze looks like he has DNF'd at turn 3, perhaps losing it on traction. Axie in P15 still out on the intermediates, and that does not seem like a good choice of tires to be on for the moment.
Yeah, 4 retirements in this race already. Kubarabi leads the pack under safety car. However, Mr. Vex finds himself right behind, but all eyes on the drivers out on slicks. How they're gonna do with the likes of Derp, RB Ferrello, KDB, and Envy on all slick tires. The Wex UK up there, Wix356 as well. All these drivers coming from season 3, and they got a rookie for company in Kubarabi up ahead. UT Baby Shumi will try and get in the mix. Everybody's gonna be as close as ever as they come along the main straight. I don't think it's safety car in this lap, so we might just have it for another lap or so. Meanwhile,
last chance for everyone to box for the softs or mediums.
Will anyone
take it?
Yes, they will. It's
yes,
UK.
They are. There we go.
And
UK diving in.
UK Wix356 and I believe UT as well.
Yep. And the outcome of this, safety car shenanigan is Envy, the lead runner on the slicks in P7. KDB, lead runner on the softs. Second of the slicks in P8, and they might just be looking for a race win over here at the start. Dark Legacy as well, right behind them, although he's on the intermediates. Supermax will be looking to get a jump early on. And at the top 6, unless the weather is not improving and the intermediates prove to be faster, I don't think they have a chance at even a podium right here today. Does it look like that?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah, definitely doesn't. But look at the drivers. These drivers don't find themselves in the top 5 too often. Of course, Cuba Rabi will, and Mr. Wex and Avi as well. But you got Baby Shumi, you got Gouts, Gambler. It's great to see them up there, but I don't think it's gonna pan out well for them. But yeah, we don't have all the information yet. And now we will. They have better information, so they're sticking to the strategies that they are. 11 laps left to the race itself. Kubarabi leads this pack. Derp finds himself in P10 with the likes of the other slick runners. We got UK on the sauce as well. Wixie 56 on the soft as well. So we're in for one hell of 10 laps. I can't wait.
Safety car in this lap. XC at the back of the queue is almost there to catch up the queue. He just has to floor it for the last sector here.
Yeah. Hopefully Kubarabi can help him out. Bunch up the pack a bit.
Yep. And Cuba Abi seems to be running very close to the safety car here. Definitely do not want to give a jump on anyone. And does it look like Cuba Abi is boxing?
Yeah, top two runners.
For the slicks right now.
Yeah, top two runners box.
Not the best call, I guess.
Avi leads this race in a fantastic turn of events. Envy finds himself battling for P2 and soon enough battling for the lead perhaps as he leads ahead of KDB who's gotten a position himself. But it's Avi running off with the race lead so far. Abi Ferrello as well, Derp UK. Gambler gets picked off one by one of these slick runners and Wix356 is in the mix as well.
Yep, and we have an Alpine spinning out in the middle sector, in the first sector. BRL Vix, who's one of the drivers on the slicks, perhaps not getting tires up to temperature, loses his position.
Yeah, and as we called it, Envy up in a P1. He leads this race. Intermediates not working out for Avi as he locks up into the next corner. KDB on his gearbox lines up next to him and up in a P2 he goes. He's on a charge to take the race to Envy.
Yes, he is. And Avi, who's in P3, now loses position to Derb from P4. Now these intermediates are proving to be the wrong choice of tires. UK and RB Farlow next to make a move on Avi. Looks like Avi is just getting picked off corner by corner here. Not even through the corner, into the last section. Last corner, RB Farlow dives down the inside of Avi. UK gets on the inside and definitely will make the move through.
Yeah, they're wheel to
Hello, guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Richu. Real quick update.
How is it going in the box? This is being very hot. 4 different leaders, 4 different safety cars, and 4 DNFs. This has been crazy. So, yeah, I wanted to say that. I had nothing else to report, actually. This is too much to grasp.
Of course, yeah,
It
exactly.
seems like the tire choices by some of the early runners up front, staying on the intermediates, wasn't the best choice, wasn't it, Richu? It looks like now everyone's on the softs or mediums, and they're looking to go till the end.
Yeah, purple sector
It
won
was
by
Big
the
Man
likes of
Joe's
Envy.
call, actually.
Oh, okay. Big Man Joe's call?
Interesting.
Yep. It was Big Man Joe's call who said that it was time for slicks 15 minutes early, and yes, it is time for slicks now, but poor thing, he span out of turn 4.
Yeah, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. I can't imagine how the Red Bull voice channel must be sounding like. As Derp closes in on the likes of KDB for P2. As Envy steers ahead, he's opened up a 3-second gap almost, Dalvin.
Yep, and I might have proved myself wrong. It seems like Envy is really on the pace today, this circuit. So KDB might just settle for P2, or he might even lose this P2 to Derp over here, who seems to be on his tail onto the pit straight. Will it be a move coming in for Derp onto KDB?
Yeah, might just be slipstream. He's got what he needs. He'll weave to the
He's
left.
getting to the outside. KDB down the inside defensive line, goes for a switchback. Derp does around the inside into the next braking zone. KDB might just have surrendered this P2 here.
Yeah, and next up to worry about is RB Ferrello. He'll be closing in real quick. Not having the best of days out on track. For some of the drivers, have we seen a few retirements as well. But yeah, in the midfield, Dark Legacy falls down the order as he heads into the pits. And for some reason, might just be a glitch. It says he's on a fresh set of softs and he headed into the pits. Unusual.
perhaps damage, or he just wants to claim the fastest lap by boxing again. We'll have a look. It looks like a wing change as well, perhaps. Most likely there was a collision somewhere in the middle sector.
Yeah, and in the midfield, Kuberabi grabbing that position from Vex 356. He was the one to pit along with Mr. Wex right when the safety car went in the lap. And yeah, on the 25th
Yeah,
lap,
let's
he ran
divert your
7th.
attention very quickly to P5 here. KDB dropped position to P5, and now UK has got past him. KDB and UK, the two favorites from the previous seasons, are going head to head, toe to toe, onto the pit straight, side by side, pushing each other. Is that a collision for them? Looks like from the onboards it
Oh,
was
no.
almost a race-ending collision, but KDB gets through safely, apparently.
Yeah. It looked like a lot of glitching as well. But yeah, KDB ahead and UT is right behind, so he'll be looking forward to closing on his teammate as well. He's not going to let UK stay out too long, I'm sure.
Yep. And just to remind yourself, up front, Envy is extending his lead once again, I guess. That's the race win almost sealed. Supermax though, Derb stays in P2 and trying to stay away from RB Fellow, who has a 6-second penalty. So KDB is still not out of the podium contention just yet. UK though, 11 seconds to his name. UT 6 seconds to his name. I think they might just have a little cool down here.
Perhaps. And Vic 356 got his position back from Kuberabi. P7 now. Not something you'd expect, but yeah, Mr. Wex, the driver who pit along with Kuberabi at the safety car restart, is closing in on that battle as well. A three-way train battle for position for P7.
Yep, trains everywhere as everyone looks to send it for the last 6 laps over here. All to play for. Every position pays you points, and every point will count towards the championship, whether it's going to be today or on the last race of the season. And RB Fellow up into P2, makes the move on Supermax. Supermax has a spin and drops positions to UK and KDB, and UT is next to get past him. Although UT runs wide, Supermax gets back the position into P5.
Not something you want to see on lap number 27, especially considering your teammate is down in P15. But it is what it is. UK finds himself at a podium position in sight.
Pierre Wicks has a spin into 10-5 and he's out. Cuba Abi now up into P7. He's being attacked by Mr. Vex. Will TF coming in? No, too far off he goes.
Yeah, and Vixie56, his front wing looks okay, so he should be able to stay out. It was just a spin. Up ahead, UT trying his best to close in on Derp, who had a nasty spin earlier on. On lap number 27, Envy leads this race with over a 7-second gap to RB Ferrello, and KDB trails as well.
Yep, KDB, worth noting, is within 6 seconds of RB Ferrello. And KDB might just be enticed to go for it now.
Retirement. We have a retirement in
and a safety
Sector
car
2.
is called out. Folks, we have another safety car
Yeah,
at the dying embers of the race.
let's stay on board.
It's
exit.
not over yet.
Yeah, we got a glimpse of Wix 356's car. He went into the barriers in Sector 2. I think he lost a wheel, much similar to the case of Big Man Show. So unfortunate for him. And that's the 5th retirement this race. And the 5th safety car?
4th, looks like it. I think it's the 4th plus a VSC that
Oh, of
may
course.
have bring the count up to total of a 5.
Yep.
Regardless though, I think 3 laps of safety car followed by 3 laps of racing. It's gonna get a bit spicy at the end as well again. And what a round it has been. Safety car on every single weather condition, and just throws the dice, throws his pen into the works, and everyone might just gamble onto the soft tires again for fresher tires maybe to gain that extra position. And looks like Avi down in P12 is one of those. He is on the fresh set of tires and perhaps might just want to get a jump on the other drivers in front of him.
Yeah, he picks up a 3-second time penalty, though unfortunate for him. RB Ferrello might just have a smile on his face, considering the safety car gives him an opportunity to take that fight to Envy, and that gap will disappear at the end of safety car. KDB as well getting into that mix, and UK and UT too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perhaps RB Fellow would like to rethink the safety car. He may not be the happiest, Satek. I think he's carrying the 6 second penalty. So,
Of
if
course.
anything, he will have to extend. He would have to pull out a 6 second gap to whoever's behind him in order to preserve his position. So, like likes of KDB here, I think might just be sneaky and trying to go for the P2, even for a P1 on the start, if it's possible.
Drive through penalty for XZ. Yet again, unfortunate for the backmarker who's in P14. But credits to him, he's not retired yet. So a good set of points for him at the end of this race if he can keep going.
Yep, and that's the spirit we like to see. Never ever retire, folks. The race
Yes.
is always on till it's finished. And XZ here has been disqualified from the session. Unfortunately, sped into the pit lane and picks up another 5 second penalty. That unfortunately disqualifies him from the race, and that's the end of his adventure for today.
Unfortunate. Just when we thought
Yep.
it might be a small ray of sunshine for him. But yeah, UK aggressively trying to heat up those tires, I presume. But he's got 14 seconds worth of penalties for himself. Not the greatest. As the safety car restart will be underway soon enough. And we leads this race. RB Ferrari right
The big
behind.
winners, though, from this safety car might just be KDB and Cuba Abi.
Yeah.
The only drivers in the top 6 to not have a single penalty yet. Everyone else is having like at least a 6 second penalty, and Derp as well in P8 on fresher tires on the softs as well. Might be looking for a cheeky podium here, or even a gain of positions through penalties from other drivers.
Yeah, and as we say that, penalties racking up. UT gets a 5 second penalty after collision with Cuba Abi. Unfortunate for him. But yeah, 3 laps left. 3 laps left. Considering the safety car will be in this lap, I presume. It
Yep.
should be 3 laps, yep.
Yep. And that just means there's less and less chance for everyone to make the overtake. So we will see some desperate, all-out movements into turn 1, into turn 5, 6. Every corner, I think, if you see a spot, you'll definitely go for it. It is the end of the race. It's the time to send it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And we'll be looking
is.
to extend that gap as much as he can right after turns 1 and 2. Hopefully, RB Ferraro and KDB get a great start and take that fight to NV. We don't want to see a huge gap open up within a matter of 3 laps, of course. Possibly.
Cuba Abi runs into the back of UT. That might just give him a 5 second penalty. And weirdly enough, UT gets the 5 second penalty for being ahead and being collided into. So UT will be looking to get that removed at the end of the race.
Yes.
Cuba Abi, fortunately, survives and looks like there's no damage to his car. Hopefully. But then again, safety car is still not in yet. This is
Usual.
really, really interesting.
Unusual. Stewards are gonna have quite the work in their hands tomorrow. Cut out for them, and yeah, the likes of most of the drivers contesting to remove the penalties, of course. Unusual
Yep.
how the safety car is not in yet. Hopefully,
It might be because Dark Legacy, who's on the tail end of the queue in P13, has not caught up to the queue yet, and it's not been 3 full laps of the safety car. This will be the last lap that the safety car will start. So we will be having lap 31, 32, and 33. Lap 32 and 33 for racing. So
Yeah,
only 2 laps.
2 laps.
2 lap sprint, man.
Yeah, our own personal
yeah.
sprint race.
Yeah.
Because, well, let's talk about the Aston Martin team. Because for the constructors itself, right? I see those two really. I mean, Aston Martin in total, who's got team principal Millen, really in a brilliant position. They got both cars out on track in good point scoring positions as well.
Yep. Saying that though, UT has a 16-second penalty, so we not really sure how many points they'll be hauling at the end of the day. But every point counts, like you said. So even if the penalties are there for now, after getting removed, I think they're looking good for first race. They might just take the lead for the constructors championship in the first race. But then it's a long season, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't just count it out just yet.
Yeah,
We have to
almost
wait for that till the end.
24 races, if I'm not wrong. 24 races in total. So, yeah, we're just getting started, folks. This is race number 1, and we've already seen so much over 6 retirements. And yeah, 13 drivers out on track. Safety car in this lap. Hopefully, my fingers are crossed at this point. And yes, it is safety car in this lap.
Yep, and looks like we're gonna get a 2-lap sprint here. It's no longer marathon, it is a sprint. 2 laps till the end. Shoot it all you have, send it into every corner, and looks like Envy will have the control of this pack once again. He is backing them up, and RB fellow KDB just hounding him from the rear. It's gonna be a very tight restart. Everyone is looking to get a jump on the drivers in front,
Yep.
and watch out for further incidents into turn 1.
Yeah, 13
as everyone
drivers.
gets hot.
Yeah, 13 drivers out on track. Points to play for all 13 positions. Have points awarded to them as Envy steers away. RB Ferrero trying to get close as possible. KDB coming behind as well. Meanwhile, in the midfield, it's Mr. Wex and UT. Wheel to wheel, perhaps. Derp falls down in position. Gouts going down the order as well. Derp, however, closing in on UT. And behind, I see a feisty Alpha Tauri. Mr. Wex drops down to P13.
Yep, he clung the curb at turn 1 and 2, I think, and then that pretty much sent him into a spin and to the back of the grid, unfortunately there.
Yeah, and down
UT now drops the position to Super Max. Max Dub up into P6 here, chasing down Cuba RB. Cuba RB right on the gearbox of UK here, and Cuba RB definitely will be gaining some positions after the penalties apply. Oh, it's getting tight. Avi.
Yeah.
On Baby Shumi, side by side almost into turn 10.
Yeah, and as you would expect, right? Avi's on the best set of softs out there, 3-lap-old softs. And he's up in a P9 from P12, I believe. And he should be able to pick off Baby Shumi into the next corner, and yes, he will.
On the inside and gets the position.
Next up is UT, a good friend of his in the league because of him. So yeah, that'll be great to see. Envy already pulled off an incredible gap of over a second to RB Ferrello. KDB, however, will keep it within a second of RB Ferrello and possibly get P2 at the end of this race. We start the final lap of the Portuguese GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 5.
UK side by side into turn 1. And they make it through. And it seems like collision for UK and the Cuba RB. They drop down the grade. Unfortunate for these drivers, and Derb there, Super Max will go up into P4. QRB rejoins in P5, keeps his position for now, but for how long?
Yeah, wheel to wheel, Avi and UT to the next corner.
and
Avi up
Avi
into
side by
P6.
side.
I think we are having audio issues on
Everyone's
our end with a
figuring it
bit
out.
of lag, Dalvin. I presume so.
Yeah. Indeed, if you can hear me now, I think it's just going to be a sprint towards the last half of a lap.
Pretty much 6-second time penalty for RB Ferrero. So how many of them can keep it as close as possible? Can Derp keep it as close as possible to get his maiden podium on his first race, his debut race? But if anything, speaking of debuts, it's Envy. He came in. So this has been a kind of a pattern here in the Bwoah Racing League. In Season 4, it was a rookie who took the top step of the podium in race number 1. And in Season 5, it's Envy for the first time in the Bwoah Racing League. Wins the Portuguese GP. KDB comes home a brilliant P2. And it's Derp getting a podium for himself. P3 for him after RB Ferrello falls down the order after multiple penalties.
Yep. Post-race penalties applying, and the finishing positions are, as you see, unfortunate that if a lot of incidents, and this track is known to give out unfair penalties, you might say, for track limits. So a lot of drivers may even look to get some of the penalties removed, and will be interesting to have a look at the end of post-race as well to see for the changes in position. But as we stand right now, Envy, your winner for the first race. KDB comes home in P2. Incredible recovery from P10 to start, and Supermax, he's just done a Supermax here, and takes the P3.
Yeah, brilliant job from Derp. Gambler gets driver of the day, and I stand corrected. It's not the Aston Martin team that will be heading home with the most points. It's the likes of the in-game McLaren team. It was Gouts and Cuba Rabi racking up some good amount of points for themselves, both finishing in the top 6.
Yep, interesting race, interesting tactics, interesting weather. I'd say this has been an interesting first race, Sartak.
Yeah.
Uh,
What a
you know,
race, huh?
what a race, man.
Best lap time goes to Envy, of course. Fastest lap for him, 1 minute 18.783, 3 stops. And yeah, what a climb from KDB from P10 to P2.
Yep. Damage recovery, I'd say, for a track that probably he's not strong at or hasn't get into grips yet, but it's still early days in the championship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And with these two leading up front, perhaps we might just see, other drivers challenging them in the upcoming races. Still, there's a lot more to look forward next week. Where are we heading to, Sartik?
Well, next week we head into the real Formula One season opener, which is the Albert Park, the Australian GP of the Bwoah Racing League. Season 5 is next weekend. We'll leave it there, I guess. We'll wrap it up. Dalvin, it was a pleasure. And we got 23 more races, beautiful races to come.
Yep, 23 beautiful weeks upcoming, and I will be looking forward to that to commentate alongside you and the rest of the gang. So, thank you, Sartik.